You check the coop every morning, but the nesting boxes are empty. No eggs, no clues, just a bunch of hens pretending they're on vacation. Don't panic. I've been there too. In this video, we'll uncover 7 hidden reasons your chickens have stopped laying eggs, and what you can do to fix it fast. Welcome to GreenProfitCultivate, where we help you raise healthy chickens, collect more eggs, and live sustainably. Subscribe for weekly tips on chicken farming, composting, and eco-living. Let's start with one of the biggest and most common reasons your hens stop laying: not enough protein in their diet. Everything about a chicken's health and productivity begins with protein. It's the building block for feathers, muscles, and, of course, eggs. When your hens don't get enough of it, their bodies go into a kind of conservation mode. Instead of focusing on egg production, they divert energy to essential functions like maintaining body temperature, healing, and growing new feathers. You might notice the signs before you realize what's happening: dull, brittle feathers, slower growth, or fewer eggs in the nesting box. During molting season, protein becomes even more important. When hens are replacing their feathers, they naturally stop laying for a bit, but if their diet is too low in protein, that molt can last longer than it should, delaying egg production even more. The good news is that this is an easy fix. A balanced layer feed is a great foundation. It's formulated with the right protein levels to keep your hens healthy and productive. But if you want to give them an extra boost, you can supplement with natural sources of protein, like mealworms, black soldier fly larvae, or even scrambled eggs from your own flock. And if your hens are free-ranging, let them forage. Bugs, worms, and greens from your yard all contribute to their natural protein intake, plus it keeps them active and happy. When you add these protein-rich foods back into their routine, you'll usually start seeing improvement within just a few days. Shinier feathers, more energy, and those beautiful eggs returning to your nesting boxes. If you're new to chicken keeping, I've linked some of my favorite layer feeds and protein boosters in the description below. They're affordable, easy to use, and they'll help your flock stay strong and productive year-round. And just as important as protein, the next key nutrient your hens rely on is calcium, and when they don't get enough of it, egg production can drop fast. You see, every eggshell your hen lays is made up of almost 95% calcium carbonate. That means every single day her body is pulling calcium directly from her diet. And if she's not getting enough, her body has to choose between staying healthy or producing eggs. And guess which one she'll prioritize? Survival, not laying. You might notice the warning signs before you even realize what's happening. Thin or soft-shelled eggs, odd shapes, or hens straining but not producing. All are clear indicators that your flock's calcium stores are running low. The solution is simple. Always provide a separate source of calcium alongside their feed. A common mistake many beginners make is mixing it directly into the feed, but hens instinctively know when they need more. By keeping it in a small dish or feeder on the side, they'll take what they need and leave the rest. Crushed oyster shell is the gold standard. It's affordable, easy to find, and extremely effective. You can also offer baked, crushed eggshells from your own kitchen as a natural supplement. Just make sure to bake them first to remove any bacteria and make them easier to digest. Calcium isn't just about strong eggshells, it supports muscle function, bone strength, and overall reproductive health. Without it, hens can become weak, lethargic, and even egg-bound. But once they have regular access to it, you'll notice the difference quickly: firmer shells, steadier laying, and a much healthier flock overall. I've linked my favorite oyster shell supplement and calcium feeders in the description below. They're simple to use and make a big difference in keeping your hens' egg production steady and strong. Now that we've covered nutrition, let's move on to something that often surprises new chicken keepers: light. Even if your hens are getting the perfect diet, they still won't lay consistently without enough light each day. That's because a hen's body is designed to respond to the length of daylight. Light tells her hormones when it's time to produce an egg, and when those daylight hours drop, usually in late fall or winter, her body naturally slows down egg production to conserve energy. Think about it like this. In nature, hens were never meant to lay year-round. Shorter days meant fewer eggs, and that rhythm helped them rest and rebuild for spring. But for backyard chicken keepers who want steady eggs through the colder months, understanding how light affects laying is key. Your flock needs about 14 to 16 hours of light per day to keep laying regularly. When the days get shorter, you can supplement safely by adding a low-watt LED light in the coop. It doesn't need to be bright, just enough to extend the day a few extra hours in the morning or evening. I like to use a timer, so the light turns on and off automatically. That consistency keeps the hens relaxed and prevents stress from sudden changes. Now, some people worry that using extra light is unnatural, But it's all about balance. You're not forcing your hens to overproduce. You're simply mimicking the daylight hours they'd have in spring or summer. And as long as you give them periods of rest and good nutrition, they'll stay healthy and productive all year long. Now, even if your hens have plenty of light and the best diet, there's still one completely natural reason they might stop laying, and that's molting season. If you've ever walked out to your coop and thought it looked like a pillow fight just broke out, don't worry, that's molting in action. Feather. It's the process where your chickens shed old, worn-out feathers and grow brand new ones. This usually happens once a year, often in late summer or early fall, and it's the chicken's way of preparing for colder weather ahead. During this time, you might notice your hens looking scruffy, or even a little bare around the neck and tail. They can seem quieter, less active, and, you guessed it, they stop laying eggs. That's because regrowing feathers takes an enormous amount of energy and protein, so their bodies redirect all available nutrients away from egg production and toward feather regrowth. And while it might seem like a setback, molting is actually a sign of a healthy bird. It's their natural reset button. The key is knowing how to support them through it. First, make sure your hens have access to high-protein feed or supplements like mealworms, black soldier fly larvae, or sunflower seeds. This helps speed up feather growth and shortens the molting period. Second, keep their environment calm and stress-free. Molting can make hens more sensitive, so avoid introducing new flock members or making big changes during this time. And third, don't worry if egg production slows down or even stops for a few weeks. Once their new feathers come in and their bodies recover, they'll start laying again, often with even stronger shells and better consistency. Think of molting as a short break before your hens come back better than ever. If you're not sure what to feed during molt, I've linked some of my favorite high-protein feeds and natural supplements in the description below. These little boosts make a big difference when your flock is recharging for the next laying season. Once your hens finish molting, they'll usually start laying again right away. But sometimes production doesn't bounce back as quickly as you'd expect. When that happens, it's often because your chickens are stressed, and stress can shut down egg production almost overnight. Chickens are creatures of habit. They like routines, familiar surroundings, and calm environments. Even small changes can throw them off. A new animal in the yard, a loud noise, a moved feeder. Anything that disrupts their sense of safety can cause them to stop laying temporarily. But the biggest source of stress by far is predators. And here's the thing. Even if a predator doesn't actually attack your flock, just the presence of one nearby can be enough to spook them. A raccoon snooping around at night, a barking dog near the run, or even the shadow of a hawk passing overhead can send your hens into panic mode. You might notice the signs: nervous pacing, refusing to go into the coop at night, or sudden squabbles among the flock. That's their way of telling you they feel unsafe. To fix it, focus on making their coop and run as secure and peaceful as possible. Start by checking for weak spots in your fencing, gaps under the run, or loose latches on doors and nest boxes. Raccoons are clever. They can open simple bolts, so upgrade to predator-proof latches or automatic doors if you can. Next, consider adding natural barriers like shrubs or small trees around the run. These give your hens cover from hawks and help them feel protected when they're out foraging. And finally, try to keep dogs and other animals from barking or chasing near the coop. Even playful energy can make hens anxious. Once your hens feel safe again, they'll settle back into their normal rhythm, and egg production will follow soon after. If you need ideas for easy coop security upgrades, I've added links below for my favorite predator-proof hardware, automatic doors, and sturdy latch kits, simple tools that make a huge difference in keeping your flock calm and protected. Now let's talk about another common reason hens suddenly stop laying. And this one's not a problem at all. In fact, it's completely natural. Sometimes your hens go broody, which means their instincts are telling them it's time to hatch chicks. When that happens, they stop laying eggs altogether, because their bodies switch from egg production to incubation mode. It's their way of saying, okay, I've made enough eggs, now it's time to sit on them. You'll know you have a broody hen when she spends all day sitting in the nesting box, fluffing up her feathers, growling when you approach, or even pecking if you try to move her. She might also puff up her chest and make a low clucking sound. It's her protective mama mode kicking in. Now, if you plan to hatch chicks, this is great. Give her a quiet space, a few fertilized eggs, and let nature do its thing. But if you don't want chicks right now, you'll need to break the broodiness. Otherwise, she could sit for weeks, losing weight and stopping her normal laying cycle. To gently break broodiness, You can move her to a separate area or a wire-bottomed cage with food and water for a few days. The cooler airflow underneath helps lower her body temperature, which naturally resets her hormones. Within a week, most hens go back to normal and start laying again. The other reason hens stop laying, and this one often surprises new chicken keepers, is simply age. Just like people, chickens slow down as they get older. Most hens lay their best during their first 2 years, producing around 200 to 300 eggs annually. After that, production gradually declines. Older hens may lay fewer eggs, but don't count them out. They're often more reliable in temperament, great at teaching younger birds, and still valuable members of your flock. Many keepers choose to keep their older hens as retired ladies, who help maintain the social balance of the flock. The key is balance. Plan to add a few new pullets each year, so you always have fresh layers coming in, as the older hens slow down. This keeps egg production steady, without overwhelming your coop. And finally, the last but definitely not least, reason your hens might stop laying has to do with their environment. Even if your hens are healthy, well-fed and calm, they won't lay consistently if their coop isn't clean or comfortable. Think about it this way. A hen wants to feel safe and relaxed when she lays. If her nesting boxes are dirty, damp or crowded, she'll simply look for another spot, or stop laying altogether. A dirty coop can also attract pests like mites, flies or rodents, which cause irritation and stress. And as we already know, stress equals fewer eggs. The good news. This one's an easy fix. It just takes a little consistency. Start with fresh, dry bedding in both the coop and nesting boxes. Pine shavings, straw or reusable pads all work great as long as they're clean and replaced regularly. Keep nesting boxes slightly raised and lined with soft bedding to protect the eggs and keep them warm. Once a week, take a few minutes to rake out droppings, stir the bedding and replace any wet or soiled material. Once a month, do a deeper clean, scrub down surfaces, disinfect feeders and waterers, and check for mites or signs of moisture buildup. Ventilation is another detail that often gets overlooked. Chickens need fresh air just as much as they need warmth. Poor airflow can lead to dampness and ammonia buildup, which affects both their health and laying consistency. A coop that smells fresh and feels dry is a happy coop, and happy hens lay more eggs. You can even make small upgrades that make a big difference, like adding nesting pads to keep eggs cleaner, or using dropping trays under roosts for faster cleanup. So if your hens have suddenly stopped laying, take a look at their living space. A few minutes of care each week can mean the difference between frustration and full egg baskets. So now you know, when your hens stop laying, it's not random, and it's definitely not your fault. There's always a reason, and once you understand what's going on, it's surprisingly easy to fix. Let's do a quick recap before we wrap up. Not enough protein. Make sure your hens are getting the nutrients they need to keep laying strong. Lack of calcium. Give them oyster shell or crushed eggshells for strong, healthy shells. Too little light. Hens need 14 to 16 hours of daylight or gentle supplemental lighting in winter. Molting season. Perfectly natural. Support them with extra protein and patience. Stress or predators. Keep the coop calm, secure, and predictable. Broodiness or age. Natural cycles that you can manage by rotating your flock and gently breaking broodiness. Dirty or uncomfortable coops. Clean, cozy nests make for happy, productive hens. When you pay attention to these 7 areas, you'll find that your flock bounces back quickly, and those empty nesting boxes will start filling up again before you know it. If this video helped you, I've got something you'll love, my free egg production troubleshooting guide. It's a simple checklist that walks you through each of these 7 areas, step by step, so you can get your hens laying again fast. You can download it using the link in the description. And if you're ready to take your chicken keeping to the next level, from planning your first coop to feeding, health, and composting, grab my ebook, The Backyard Chicken Blueprint, From First Coop to Fresh Eggs. It's packed with the exact systems I use to keep my flock healthy, happy, and productive all year long. Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly tips on backyard chickens, egg production, and sustainable living. Every video is designed to help you grow more, waste less, and live green. Thanks so much for watching GreenProfitCultivate. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, give your hens a little extra love, because a happy flock always gives back.